Talk about being a complete baby. Alright, game changers, welcome back to another video here today. Everybody knows that right now Microsoft is awaiting a decision from regulators on whether Microsoft will acquire the rights of Call of Duty. If the deal goes through, it would mean that Microsoft will acquire Activision as a whole, which of course is the publisher for Call of Duty. But it's not that simple because there's a whole lot of stuff being considered and Sony is really fighting against it for obvious reasons. But some of the odd things they are stating is what's the real kicker here. And honestly, it looks more like a tantrum that's being thrown.
How dare you!
And by tantrum, I mean they are suggesting a number of ways Microsoft could hinder Call of Duty on PlayStation should these regulators approve Microsoft's proposed $69 billion takeover of Activision Blizzard, including purposefully releasing a version with bugs and errors.
Excuse me, what?
You won't believe this, but Sony's view on how Microsoft could withhold access to existing or future Call of Duty games is to impair PlayStation's competitiveness. Sony suggests that they will raise the price of Call of Duty on PlayStation, degrade the quality and performance of the game on PlayStation compared to Xbox, degrade the game to ignore PlayStation specific features, restricting, degrading, or not prioritizing investment in Call of Duty multiplayer on PlayStation, and making the game available on a subscription service only on Game Pass.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
They go on to say, for example, Microsoft might release a PlayStation version of Call of Duty where bugs and errors emerge only on the game's final level or after later updates. Even if such degradations could be swiftly detected, any remedy would likely come too late, by which time the gaming community would have lost confidence in PlayStation as a go-to venue to play Call of Duty. Further, Sony suggests Microsoft will always prioritize its own Xbox versions of games. Post-transaction, Microsoft will need to make choices about the support it will provide to develop any PlayStation version of Call of Duty. Even if Microsoft operated in good faith, it would be incentivized to support and prioritize development of the Xbox version of the game, such as by using its best engineers and more of its resources.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock!
It's through these strategies that Sony believes a behavioral commitment from Microsoft to deliver Call of Duty to PlayStation owners would be difficult. Sony claims Microsoft has not shown any real commitment to reaching a negotiated outcome and that the company have dragged their feet, engaged only when they sensed the regulatory outlook was darkening, and favored negotiating in the media over engaging with SIE. Further, Microsoft's proposal fails to provide adequate protection for PlayStation's access to Call of Duty for competition. Instead, it reveals Microsoft's lack of commitment to ensuring full and equal access to Call of Duty, confirms the risks of behavioral remedy outlined in the guidelines, and reinforces SIE's belief that Microsoft intends to use Call of Duty strategically to dominate the gaming sector. Now, when you read all of this, this comes to the conclusion that Sony is really trying hard for Microsoft not to acquire Activision for those strategic purposes. And I get it. Of course they don't, because they want to be the ones dominating this game field. But the one thing that Sony forgets to mention is that they have been doing it all along. It's because Call of Duty was first prioritized on PlayStation is why a lot of players went with the PlayStation. Of course, there's Sony exclusives that I think are way better than Call of Duty. For example, Spider-Man, God of War, all of these games that Microsoft does not have. And again, I think all of us, especially me, I'm an Xbox player, I can even admit the exclusives on PlayStations are so much better than the ones on Xbox. That's for sure. Except I do like Halo, or did like Halo. Halo right now, don't even get me started. What Halo has become right now. Back in the day, it was top tier, but now, oh my god, don't even get me down that rabbit hole. So Sony is definitely crying about the fact that they will no longer control Call of Duty. But let's be real, guys. Call of Duty is not the same game that it used to be. It's not the same game that we used to enjoy as we did back in the day. The golden days are way behind us, where we would wait in line, couldn't wait to play Call of Duty. And when we did play Call of Duty, it was all day. Like, you look at your friends list, majority of people are not even playing Call of Duty. There's other games people are playing, and good for them, because Call of Duty has really tanked in the past couple of years. Recently, Microsoft struck a deal to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo's platforms in a bid to appease these regulators as well. Oh my god. Can you imagine how horrible it would play on the Switch? Not only would the graphics look horrible, but the gameplay, the smoothness, I mean, I don't even want to imagine how Call of Duty would play on Nintendo. That just seems like a horrible experience.
You are correct, sir.
But again, going back to the things that Sony is claiming Microsoft would do to PlayStation versions of Call of Duty is pretty ridiculous. Yes, COD is still somehow the most sold game of any platform, or at least is consistently at the top of the charts. The numbers are way lower than previous years, and so are the player numbers by even more. How many Xbox and PC players have switched to the PlayStation because of early access to the game? I can't imagine many. I sure didn't. If anything, Microsoft might add some incentive for playing on the Xbox versus PlayStation with the same early access as PlayStation had, and there's nothing wrong with that because PlayStation has been doing it for years. I mean, it's only fair, but to claim that Microsoft will sabotage PlayStation versions of the game through bugs and other things is quite frankly insane. Personally, I don't get into the whole console war thing because I could care less about all of that. I say play on whatever platform you prefer. Who cares about the whole early access nonsense? Whichever platform Call of Duty or any game for that matter that comes out should perform optimally, because we as the players, the customers, deserve that at the very least.
You're goddamn right.
But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys hit that like button. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell to be notified every single time I upload a video. Now with that being said, this is GCP signing off.